What's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and today I'm going to be going over my Week 2 NFL Power Rankings. This will be my first Power Rankings of the season. I did not do one in Week 1. To be honest, I didn't really want to do a Week 1 Power Rankings just because of, nobody played yet. I know a lot of people like to do preseason Power Rankings. That's just something I don't like to do. But now that Week 1's in the books and we've seen a little bit, I'm going to be doing my first power rankings of the season, and then I'm going to be doing this every week after Monday Night Football on the next Tuesday. So let's get into it. So starting off, we're going from 32 to 1. At 32, obviously, I have the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals almost shocked a lot of people and almost beat the Washington Commanders this past Sunday. Their defense looked okay. I thought their defense was going to be terrible. They had interception or a couple interceptions. No, they had one interception, and they had a couple fumble recoveries. So their defense didn't look bad. Their offense is what looked kind of terrible, and their defense, did good, and then their offense wasn't able to do anything. They did lose by 4 points to the Commanders, 20-16. I think still doesn't matter if the Cardinals almost beat the Commanders. They're still the worst team in the NFL. At 31, I have the Houston Texans. I thought the Houston Texans showed a lot of progressive things against the Baltimore Ravens this week, but they still lost 25-9. Honestly, if I was going to be doing a preseason power rankings, I would have had them at like 28-29. I know that's probably a little high in a lot of people's books, but they had a great offseason. And I wouldn't be surprised if a little bit later in the season, with little bit of an easy schedule as well, if you might see this Houston Texans team maybe even higher in the power rankings, because they might win some games they're not supposed to. Their defense played very good against this Ravens offense. They had an interception, a fumble recovery, a forced fumble that the Ravens recovered, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. They allowed this Ravens offense to only 7 points in the first half. Yes, the Ravens scored 18 in the second half, but this Texans defense was really good. And C.J. Stroud looked really good in his rookie debut, through 28 for 44 with 242 passing yards. C.J. Stroud looked really good for Houston. And 44 passing attempts with 0 interceptions. At 30, I have the Chicago Bears after losing the Green Bay Packers 38-20. Disappointing loss for the Bears. Justin Fields looked terrible. And not only that, this was Jordan Love making his first start as the Green Bay Packers starting quarterback, and he was without his number one wide receiver, Christian Watson. So this was a disappointing loss by the Bears. I don't think it's disappointing that they lost. I think there was definitely a chance the Packers could win this game on Sunday. I think it's that they lost this game by 18. That at one point they were losing this game by 24 points. I think that is what is disappointing for this week by the Chicago Bears. At 29, I have the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young had a little bit of a rocky rookie debut. Did throw a decent amount of passing yards. I think he threw for about 180, 160, and he threw it for his first touchdown pass to Hayden Hurst. I think it was a 3-yard touchdown pass, but did throw 2 interceptions to the same player, Jesse Bates, who the Falcons signed from the Cincinnati Bengals. And you saw the Panthers win 24-10. I don't think Bryce Young looked bad, but he didn't look that great either. At 28, I had the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson probably had... I think him and C.J. Stroud are pretty close. They both had really good rookie debuts. C.J. Stroud threw for the most passing yards, while Anthony Richardson had 2 touchdowns, threw for 1 and ran for 1, and ran 40 yards as well. I think C.J. Stroud had a good rookie debut, but I think Anthony Richardson's was probably number 1. Great rookie debut for Anthony Richardson, and not only that, but they came pretty close to beating the Jaguars. They did lose 31-21, but this game was a close game. In the fourth quarter, they were leading 21-17 with like 5.5 minutes to go. So this Colts team almost had a win against Jacksonville, and Richardson had a good rookie debut. 27 out of the Tennessee Titans. They lost by 1 against the New Orleans Saints, 16-15. Ryan Tannehill threw 3 interceptions. This Titans team is going to be horrible to watch. They're going to be terrible this year. I know people are convinced with healthy Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins getting added in that they're going to be good. They're not. I'm not sold on the Titans. I've never been. I knew they were going to be bad last year. Everybody thought they were going to be number one in the division. They had a hard schedule last year. I don't know why nobody could see that, and they were terrible last year. And I think they're going to be even worse this season. I know it seems like I'm hating on the Titans, but I'm telling you guys, they're going to be really bad this year. 26 had the Denver Broncos, who took a tough loss to the Las Vegas Raiders, 17-16. I will, this was a bad loss for the Broncos, but I will give them an exception. They were missing number one wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy. This was also the first game of, Sean Payton in a new system with Russell Wilson. So, that it's going to take some adjusting for Russ. He didn't look too bad. He threw 2 touchdown passes. Did throw he didn't throw an interception, I don't think. Threw for 175 passing yards. Didn't look bad. Didn't look great either, but was also missing his number one wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy. So I think that with maybe next week getting Jerry Jeudy back in the offense and being a little more adjusted with, this new system, maybe Russell Wilson and the Broncos will be able to win in week 2. They have a little bit of an easy matchup against the Commanders, so I'm favoring the Broncos in that game. Then at 25, I have the team that the Broncos lost to, the Raiders at 25. The Raiders had a good win, a good gutsy win with Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Myers having a really good game. Garoppolo, 2 touchdown passes. Jacoby Myers, 2 touchdown receptions, and the Raiders get the win. I have them at 25. Then another team that it was probably really high in power rankings, the Buccaneers, who got a win against the Vikings 2017. Great Bucs debut by Baker Mayfield, and we'll see how it goes for them in week 2. At 23, I have the Minnesota Vikings. I know that it's a little weird having the team that the Bucs beat after them, but honestly, I still think the Vikings are probably better than the Bucs, even though the Bucs beat them. Just Kirk Cousins had a really rough game, but I don't think it will get much better for the Vikings, and they play Thursday Night Football against the Eagles. That's prime time for Kirk Cousins, so we all know what that means. So I don't think it's going to get much better for Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. At 22, I have the Giants, who arguably had the worst loss of week 1, 40-0 against the Cowboys. They should be lower on this list, but they were playing the Cowboys, and it could get better for the Giants. At 21, I have their division rival, the Commanders. They had a good win in week 1, but they only beat the Cardinals by 4. That was very disappointing. They should have won that game by double digits. Their offense should have been way better for sure as well. At 20, I have the New England Patriots. New England Patriots surprised a lot of people, including me. The Patriots played a great game. So did Mac Jones in week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles, almost beating the Philadelphia Eagles 25-20. I have the Patriots at 20, and I know that might be a little high in a lot of people's books, but this Patriots team, with especially the Jets now without Rodgers, the Patriots are probably the 3rd best team in the division. And honestly, if the Bills keep it up and Josh Allen keeps playing the way he did and Mac Jones keeps playing the way he did, Sunday, the Patriots could be the 2nd best team in this division. I know that's crazy for saying, but they have a good defense. Mac Jones looked good. Mac has some chemistry with some of his wide receivers in Kendrick Bourne, Mike Gesicki, who's a tight end, and Juju Smith-Schuster, and Bill O'Brien looks like he's the right offensive coordinator for Mac Jones. And if Josh Allen keeps playing like he is, in the way he did Monday night, I think that when the season's over, the way I think the division will play out, you'll see the Dolphins at 1 and the Bills at 2 and the Patriots at 3 and the Jets at 4. But if the Bills keep it up and Josh Allen keeps it up and he keeps playing the way he played Monday night, which I know it's only one game, but this has constantly been a problem for him. So I think that if he keeps it up, the Patriots are going to surprise a lot of people this season. At 19, I have the New Orleans Saints. I don't know why I have them this high. I like them. I think they're going to be a good team. But they only beat the Titans by 1. They almost lost to the Titans as well. But we'll see how he does. At 18, we'll see how they do. At 18, I have the Falcons. They had a great win against the Panthers in week 1 against Carolina, 24-10. The run game looked great with Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson, the rookie. So I think this Falcons team might shock a lot of people this season. And As of right now, I think the Saints have to be the favorite to win the division, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons win this division this year. At 17, I have the Seattle Seahawks. They had a disappointing loss against the Los Angeles Rams to this week, 30-13, and only scored 0 points in the second half. And I don't know, the Seahawks, they have a hard schedule to start off. Seahawks fans, close your ears, but I mean, looking at the first 6 games, I see Seattle starting off 2-4, and they even have a hard schedule after that. This might be a rough year for Seattle this year. I know it's early on, but look at their schedule, guys. At 16, I had the team that the Seahawks lost to, the Rams. This might be a little high for some people, but the Rams played a great game. They were missing Cooper Kupp, their best player, and Matthew Stafford was coming back from his first year after surgery, and not only that, but was missing his number one wide receiver, and he showed out through 0 interceptions, through 335 passing yards, and had a great day going 24 for 38. And this Rams team played a great game against the Seahawks defense in winning the game 30-13. At 15, I have a team who had another great Week 1 win, and that's the Green Bay Packers. Great performance by the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love in Week 1. Jordan Love threw 3 touchdown passes in his first game as the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. I think they deserve to be at 15. I know probably a lot of people don't see the Packers in the top 15, but I do. At 14, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had a tough loss. The only reason I still have them in the top 15 after the loss they had this week is just because of the fact that their loss came to the San Francisco 49ers. Let's see how the Steelers do next week when they're not playing the San Francisco 49ers. They do have a little bit of a tough matchup next week. They play the Cleveland Browns, and that's just the 49ers defense is way better than the Browns, but they're going to be facing another good defense this week on Monday Night Football next week. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how Kenny Pickett and the Steelers offense bounces back against Cleveland next Monday. At 13, I have the Baltimore Ravens, who beat the Houston Texans 25-9. At 12, I have the Cleveland Browns, who play the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday night and beat the Cincinnati Bengals 24-3. Great win for Deshaun Watson. Great start for Deshaun Watson, and the Browns will start the season. We'll see how they look against Pittsburgh Monday. At 11, I have the Chargers. I know they lost Week 1, but here's the thing. Here's the thing I will say. They lost Week 1, but they lost the Dolphins, who absolutely played unbelievable and almost beat the Dolphins with the good a game Tua and Tyreek Hill had on Sunday. I think the Chargers will be able to bounce back going into Week 2. I can't remember who they're playing Week 2, but I think this will be a great performance by the Chargers and Justin Herbert in Week 2. At 10, I have the New York Jets. I know Aaron Rodgers is out for the season, but the Jets still got a great win. Before, I would have had the Jets probably in the area of 5 to 7 in power rankings. So this was them going down in the power rankings even after a really good win against the Buffalo Bills. I just feel that even though Rodgers' season is over and, the Jets don't have a lot of hope without Rodgers unless they bring in somebody in at quarterback. And if they keep Zach Wilson, there's at the starting quarterback, there's not a lot of hope. But here's the facts. They still got a great win. They still have a great defense. They had 3 interceptions, and they had the Bills' offense. The Bills' offense turned the ball over 4 times against them. The Jets' defense had a field day, and they beat the Buffalo Bills without Aaron Rodgers 22-16. They deserve to stay in the top 10, even with or without Aaron Rodgers. And I have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had a great Week 1 win against Anthony Richardson and the Colts, 31-21. The duo between Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley looks deadly, and it's going to be fun to watch this season. It's going to be fun to watch those two go up against Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes next Sunday after the Chiefs beat them in the playoffs last year. At 8, I had the Buffalo Bills. The Bills took a terrible loss, and they played terrible on offense, and I think they deserve to drop down a lot. If you saw the Bills before, they were probably in the top 5, if not 6. So I think the Bills deserve to drop down a lot. At 7, I had the Detroit Lions, who had a great win against the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday night in the season opener. I know the Chiefs were without Travis Kelce and were without Chris Jones, but the Lions played a sloppy game, didn't play their best on offense, and went into Kansas City, which is a hard place to win, no matter who's playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. And they beat Patrick Mahomes. They They played some great defense against a good Chiefs offense without Travis Kelce or with Travis Kelce. Doesn't matter. The Chiefs still have a decent offense without Travis Kelce. He's not going to be doing everything for them. So they have They have Patrick Mahomes. That's one thing. They have Isaiah Pacheco, and they played good against both of those guys and the other wide receivers. This Lions defense looked great in Week 1, and their offense looked solid, not the best. And I think this was a great win for the Lions. I think they're going to be a great team. I think they're definitely going to win the NFC North, and I think they'll win in the area to 11 to 13 games, and the Lions will shock a lot of people this season. At 6, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. I know they look terrible, but Joe Burrow was not ready to go. This was a bad weather game as well. There was rain. This was a rain game, and Joe Burrow was not ready to go with that calf injury, and probably so was not Aaron Rodgers last night. So I mean, honestly, I know Joe Burrow was fine in Week 1. I mean, didn't play his best football. I'm talking about health wise. But after seeing what happened to Aaron Rodgers last night, I mean, I wonder if Bengals fans have to worry about Joe Burrow. He had a calf injury just like Aaron Rodgers did, and I'm sure that calf injury is what maybe even came a little bit of part of having an Achilles problem for Aaron Rodgers on that play last night. I don't think anything will happen to Joe Burrow, but I think he'll bounce back, and so will the Bengals. They have a home game against the Ravens next week, and I think they'll get their first win of the season. At 5, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're getting Chris Jones back this week in Jacksonville. They're probably getting Travis Kelce back. So we'll get to see a fully healthy Chiefs team this week in Jacksonville, and we'll see how they look. At 4, I got the Philadelphia Eagles. Before I probably would have had them at 1 or 2. So I know this is a little bit of a drop down, but I think there are definitely a couple teams that I have that should be over them, and here's one of them, and that's their division rival at 3, the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys probably had one of the best performances in Week 1 with their defense, and at 2 is probably the best team that had the best offensive performance, and that is the Miami Dolphins. I wanted to put the Cowboys or Dolphins at 1 and 2, but at 1 I really wanted to put, who I think has the most talent in the NFL, and that is the San Francisco 49ers. So, to recap my top 5, at 1 I have the 49ers, at 2 I have the Dolphins, at 3 I have the Dallas Cowboys, at 4 I have the Philadelphia Eagles, and at 5 I have the Kansas City Chiefs, and 6 is also the Bengals. But yeah, using them are your thoughts on my power rankings. Give me your Week 2 power rankings. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.